QC.
What's good, guys? It's your girl Fats. Hope you guys are well. Today we have a special guest. I'm joined by the one and only Chanita from Married at First Sight UK. Hey!
Hey!
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome. First off, before we get into everything, I have to ask you this. How are you feeling about the last week of Married at First Sight UK?
It's mad. I'm a bit nervous and excited. It's mad because there was such a gap between filming and airing. So it's like you kind of have a gap, and then all of a sudden you're back in it on that roller coaster. So nervous because I've lived it again. So now it's like, oh, what happens next? But exciting because everyone will then see the full journey of everybody, and we'll be up to date, and we don't have to keep any secrets anymore.
That's amazing. Now, you gave us your background story. One of the things that you mentioned is the fact that you was in a long-term relationship. That relationship has ended. What was the dating scene like for you prior going into Married at First Sight? And was you not finding any luck on the outside world? Or was you thinking, you know what, I want to try something different. I want to try something adventurous.
I had a bit of a difficult time dating because I was in that long-term relationship. I come out of it and I was a bit lost with who I was because I'd been with that person 10 years consecutively. We'd never broke up. So it was very much a shock to the system.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of work I needed to do on myself, refine myself. And then when I finally entered the dating scene, because dating apps were new to me because obviously I've been in a relationship that long. I'd never used dating apps. So I went on there and I was like, what is this? It's like a catalogue of guys, isn't it? You're just flicking through. I went on a few dates, but unfortunately, they just weren't the best type of people to be going on dates with. And I think I said it in my backstory, like there was that whole shelving thing. I don't know if you've heard of that, where like literally put it on the shelf, look everywhere else, and think, well, actually, I'll go back to it. So I had that a few times. I had my first experience of ghosting. So yeah, I was just like, what is this? Like, this is hard work. So over like 2 years dating, and then my friend said, oh, apply to Married at First Sight. And I was like, no. And then one night I just thought, why not? Never did I ever think I'd get chosen. Like little Chanita from Derby, what the hell? So yeah, that's kind of how I ended up on maths.
Yeah, because I was thinking to myself, you know, you're a stunning girl. Like, was there no sweet ones at Derbyshire that, you know, like?
No. The short and sweet answer, no. Or they just didn't make themselves known to me.
Now, what was the transition like going from being a social worker to going into Married at First Sight and marrying a total stranger?
Yeah, I mean, one crazy thing to another, isn't it? Definitely transition because obviously my social work job was so chaotic and stressful, and you literally just live, breathe, and eat social work. Then I kind of had a little bit of a gap, probably like 2 weeks, I think, till going into maths. So it sounds bad at first. It was easy. If that makes sense. You know, I wasn't nervous to meet Jordan. Obviously, I didn't know who he was, but I wasn't nervous to meet him. And I felt really good. It felt a good feeling. So it wasn't as troublesome to go from social worker into maths. If anything, it was like, I suppose, swapping one stress for another to some degree. Yeah. Just jumping from one stress boat to the other. But yeah, I enjoyed my time. Like, you know, obviously we have the ups and downs, but I was just happy to be given the experience and opportunity.
That's amazing. Now, if you had to use 3 words to describe your journey on Married at First Sight with Jordan, what would it be?
Oh my God! Wow, you got me with this one. 3 words. Interesting. Lovely. Just lovely. Roller coaster.
Ooh.
Like, yeah.
Why roller coaster?
because you get put in such a pressure cooker that there's no way you can plan for it. You can watch, you know, previous series, and you kind of have an idea of what to expect to some degree, but when you're in it, it's two different things. Like, you just can't plan for it at all. So the roller coaster is, you know, you have some real highs and then you have real lows. You know, the bad week with me and Jordan that you saw on the couch, I was in a bad place that week. I felt really low. I was sad. I felt a bit alone. Obviously me and Jordan weren't getting on, and obviously viewers only see the one thing that I'd said that had upset him, but it didn't show the other side of the situation. And the experiment got to me that week, and I felt the walls were closing in, and I just felt suffocated. So that's what I mean in terms of like roller coaster, because 1 minute, woo woo, and then it's like damn,
just like any other relationship, to be honest.
Definitely, but this time you've got a group of other people that are involved in your marriage. You've got experts telling you, and you've got a camera crew getting every little detail. So your highs and lows,
single detail,
there for the world. And I think that's what I was a bit scared about going into the experiment. Is putting my vulnerabilities out to the world and being there for people to criticize me, have an opinion. Because it was hard enough in the experiment with other couples, but then a whole nation is a different kettle of fish.
Now, from the moment you saw Jordan at the wedding and you guys went on your honeymoon, did you think to yourself, you know what, this could be my long-term partner? You know, this is going to be my lifetime partner.
Yeah, definitely. When I got down the aisle, you just don't know who's going to be at the end of the aisle, do you? Let's face it. And I was just like, please don't be like Peter Griffin, you know, Family Guy. So I just don't want like that. So then when I see him, I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing all right. And then I instantly felt comfortable with him, which you saw. We just laughed and took it in our stride, and we was having photos together with the photographer, was chatting more. So I thought, wow, this is amazing. Like, I've just married a stranger. We're getting on more than I could ever imagine. We had so many similarities. And we had the same like morals and things that we wanted out of life. So I was like, he's a good one. And because I thought of all the time and effort we've put into the experiment beforehand, you know, we speak to psychologists, we do surveys, we do so much before we get chosen. I thought it must be good because they gave him to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure a lot of the viewers and the fans will agree with me. Like, you could literally feel the connection and the spark at the wedding. Like, even when like Jordan was doing his toast and he was talking about his nan and he was, you know, doing his speech, and you didn't even know who this guy is, and he got emotional and you gave him a hug. And honestly, I'm sure a lot of people agree with me. A lot of people was like, yeah, Chanita is my fave, like, because it's just a human thing to do, to see someone upset and just go up to them and hug them. Like, you automatically did that. Would you agree? Or
you know, with myself, I am a very loving and caring person, and I thought, it's such a big day, half the room he doesn't know, and he's got up there and he's opened his heart straight away about his nan, and I could see how much she meant to him. I think I empathized as well in terms of, I wanted my grandmother, although she hasn't passed, she's quite elderly and she wouldn't have been able to travel to this destination. And my thought process very much was like, I could only imagine the hurt and pain that he must have. Because as well, at that point, I hadn't realised the picture was at the front of the table, because I hadn't been through that bit. When I'd come in, I'd gone behind the table and there was that many flowers, I didn't know. So when he said that, it really just touched my heart. And I just thought, he stood up there, bless him, on his own, speaking out to everyone on such a scary day. So the least I could do was just go up and support him, and that's my husband. You've got to have his back. And
love that. Now, I'm sorry, but we gotta do this. We gotta talk about some of the mess, the madness, the drama that went down on the show. And you was in the mix of the drama too.
I got dragged into the drama starting. First of all, I got dragged in. And yeah.
Now, I know you and Thomas are good now, but do you actually believe that Thomas and April were actually talking about you behind your back? And what was actually said? Like, did you get to the bottom of it?
So it's so funny because they couldn't make sense of it. I always know what. So basically, we was at April's, and if they were having a drink, I'd come a bit later, and we were just chatting, and I'd said like what I felt. The thing is with me, I'm very open and honest. Not in like a dickhead way, but I'll say if I feel this, I'll tell you. We were just chatting about situations, and I think we was chatting about the hot tub thing, and I was like, yeah, I didn't think it was that good, and I felt that you two were hiding behind the hot tub and not actually speaking about your problems. I don't think that went down very well. And then Tom and April went into the toilet, and that's when whatever was said. But interestingly enough, I got upset because I thought I'd upset April, because I don't like to upset people. I never come from a place of malice. So actually I was upset thinking, oh, have I upset her? That's not my intention. I was just having a conversation with her. So then for me to get upset and then later find out that they've been bitching about me in the toilet, I was like, oh, okay. What I was told was April had come to me and told me that Tom had been bitching about me. So she'd initially come to me and told me that.
Told you that, yeah.
And that Tom had gone to Jess's and bitched about me and April. So it's like two kind of dimensions to the story.
It's funny because Jess went on her TikTok and said that Thomas's story keeps changing.
Yeah. So I think Jess doesn't know the full story. Like I saw Jess's TikTok, and some of it I thought that from my side that's not correct. So then April had come to me. She told me Tom had bitched about me in the toilet, and then she'd said Jess had spoken to her and Tom had apparently gone to Jess's and bitched to Jess about me in April. So they're like the two together. So initially, as you can imagine, I was really upset. I wasn't happy because me and Tom had actually had a really nice day together at the commitment ceremony. We got really close. So to find that out, I was hurt and I was angry. Like, I was just like, why would you do that? Anyway, so then I'd confronted Tom. I see a dinner party. I'm like, well, this has been said. And then it turned, well, actually, no, that's not the case. It was April that said this, that, and the other. So I'm like, right, who's saying what? Because we are grown-ass adults. All you have to do is say, you know what, I said that. I agree with it or I don't agree with it now. Because I know that's what I would do. Well, I wouldn't even be going bitching about people in toilets anyway. But anyway. So that's when it become who said what. And that's why at that dinner party, I just stood there and said, you know what, you both bitched about me. Because for me, I just wanted closure. I wanted the end to it. It was getting dragged out. I thought someone should be able to own up to what it is. I did, I suppose, end up believing Tom more so because I think that was because how Tom is. And he was like, he swears down. Even now, if you asked him, he would swear down. He'd never said it. And at the time, I remember thinking, April hasn't said as much. Like it was really difficult. And there was other things that were said at that dinner party that it didn't all come to light on the show.
Oh, tell us. What was that?
I'll leave that for another time. But it made me really question April as well. So I was like, right, the best way for me to deal with it, so I've got no animosity, is bam, you both did it, let's move on. But nobody wanted to move on. Like even when I'm like, oh, let's move on, it was being brought up again and again, as you can see. And then I think it did change slightly because at that dinner party, I think when April and Tom had that conversation when Jess had gone, and they said that Jess had been saying X, Y, and Z. And that's when I was like, where is Jess in it? Like, what? And that's when I said, you both stories are changing. You both did it. Boom, let's leave it. But yeah, I think that followed us through all the way to the end of the experiment.
Yeah, crazy.
And this, do you know what? I said this to them. I was like, you know, if I actually bitched about one of you and it got twisted, I could understand. If I had actually said something, then okay. It's the fact I never said anything. They brought me into something that I didn't need to be brought into. And yeah, I was just like, how has this happened? You know, you literally thinking, how has this happened?
You seem like the type of person, like, from what I've gotten, like, you seem like a free spirit, full of energy, good vibes kind of girl. And I was thinking to myself, why do they keep dragging her into this?
and I am, and that's the thing. If I am upset or you peed me off, whatever, I will come and chat to you about it, because I think it's better for us to have that chat than me sit there and it's stewing and I'm just there like, you know, like seething with silent resentment. I may as well just come and chat to you. And that way then I know where I stand with you, vice versa, and we can move on. I'm not about holding on to negativity. Life's too short for that.
Sure, yeah.
And, you know, it was in an experiment. It's once in a lifetime. I don't want other people's views, lies, whatever, to ruin my experience. So,
interesting.
Yes, that's a little bit about that.
On one of the commitment ceremonies, you and Jordan were going through a bit of a hiccup. You were going through some things, and you expressed that to the experts and got some support. But we also saw that Kwame also did come for you at the commitment ceremony, which, by the way, I thought it was unnecessary. Where are you guys at now? Are you and Kwame good? Did he even apologize?
Yeah, so that commitment ceremony was tough. And like I said before, I am very open and honest, and I took the experiment really seriously. And that's why I brought stuff to the couch. There's a lot of couples that didn't bring their stuff to the couch, but with me, I'd always own up. I knew what I'd said had hurt Jordan, so I thought, let me bring it up. Let's discuss this and move forward, and get the advice. And let's face it, if I wanted to be snaky or whatever, I could have hid that and gone on, but I'm not fake. And I was there to hold my hands up. Personally, I have no view of ADHD in a negative way. So for me, the stigma and that around it, do you know what I mean?
And can I just say, when it comes to that that whole thing with ADHD, I don't think he was being malicious with that. And
no, not at all. No, definitely not. And with my job in that, it's something that we're used to speaking openly about. And I suppose maybe I needed to watch myself, because I'm used to openly speaking about it and, you know, promoting it, empowering it. I didn't think Jordan would be so upset by it. So obviously you live and you learn, and I took that on board and, you know, I apologise. So pouring my heart out on that sofa that day, because we was there for a while, you only see a snippet. To come off the sofa and Kwame say that to me, it really hurt, because I just thought, have you not seen me pour my heart out? I've literally just gave you all my vulnerabilities, because it is like a lion's den sometimes. You're sat there, they're all speaking, commenting, whatever. So for him to say that, I got it in the sense of, okay, he's Jordan's friend, he's sticking up for Jordan, but I don't need that right now. You know, I think it's funny. I think I saw on Twitter people like, oh, he was joking. She took it too far. No, he wasn't joking.
No, he wasn't joking.
He was not joking. Because it was obviously snippeted again, and he had said more. I think he'd said he thought the experts were too nice about it or something, which they weren't. They were very fair. And that just, I mean, kick someone when they're down. Why don't you? So, and then obviously Jordan felt quite overwhelmed by the situation, especially being in the middle of me and Kwame. So then we went out. But no, I did speak to Kwame after. He did apologise to me.
Amazing.
And we had a good chat about it, on and off camera, to be fair. You just didn't see it. But yeah, I've got no bad blood with Kwame. And this is the thing, I'll have an issue with someone, work past it. I'm a true believer in that. So yeah, it happened. But
During that time, it was really hard for you. Did you think at one point, you know what, like, I want to exit this experiment with Jordan, like, I'm over this BS? Did you ever think like that at one point?
Yeah, that week, and probably me and Jordan probably thought, yeah, we're apart from each other as well. Just because, you know, it's, you think of everything at the end of the day. You think, is this right for me? Should I get, like, do you know what I mean? And you think this experiment's a lot. It's hard work. You're dealing with other people that you don't really know either. And their stupidness or foolishness, as Kwame would call it. So yeah, that week, and you know, I'm sure Jordan won't mind saying we both struggled that week, I think, just because we'd come at loggerheads with each other. And I think he left me for 2 days, Jordan did. So yeah, he moved out the apartment. That wasn't shown? I think it showed me just crying.
No, but it showed me it didn't show that you guys didn't see each other for 2 days.
Because I think it just showed a small clip of me crying on my own, like, oh, we've had a fallout. Because we'd had a fallout after that dinner party. Jordan was very drunk for that dinner party, and I wasn't in a good place, so we clashed. And then we got back. We'd had a fallout, and then he went and left me, and stayed.
For 2 days.
Yeah, and he didn't speak to me. I sent him a nice long text to say, oh, sorry, you know, can we, you know, do this? Yeah. I was planning to cook him his like favorite meal, but he didn't speak to me.
I don't think that was shown on the show.
No, it only showed me just crying. It just showed me alone in the flat crying. And then we spoke, and then so basically that happened, and then we had the commitment ceremony. So you're dealing with all that tornado, then got the commitment ceremony. So it's like, right, okay, let me bring it to the couch, because that's why we're here. You know, we're not here to lie about stuff or minimize things. You're there to work on your marriage and be open and honest with the expert, so you can get as much as possible out of it. So yeah, that week, and I think that because he left me, that's why when I said earlier, we probably thought, oh, can we deal with each other? Because that moment.
Going back to April, I know you had some questions about April. Do you still think April's fake?
Oh gosh, you're getting me now, aren't you? Yeah. And at the time, I felt she was fake, because I felt her and George's relationship wasn't quite adding up, because we were hearing a lot off camera and seeing a lot. When it comes to the couch, we was like, wait, why haven't they mentioned that? Or why is it seeming a bit different? It's very much minimized. So that's why we thought they were fake. Again, things were said, and it's hard because as the couple, you can imagine one's got one version of events, someone else has another. And I just felt that we wasn't seeing everything that we should, and they weren't as transparent as they should have been. So yeah, I did believe April was fake at that time, and I did distance myself a little bit in the experiment. That's probably why I ended up being closer to Tom as well, because I'm very close to Adrian. Adrian's like one of my best friends, so naturally as well, I suppose that brought me closer to Tom. Who
do you actually think is fake on the show? Like, when you watch it back, like, do you see certain cast and think, yeah, you definitely went on the show for some clout?
I say you're trying to get me in trouble.
Spill the tea. Feel free to be honest.
God. You know what? It's interesting watching the show back, because we don't see people's backstories. We didn't see the honeymoons. So watching backstories, watching honeymoons, you're like, oh, okay. And you kind of see another side to somebody. I think it was very interesting to watch Keisha and Kwame's relationship. Because that was a lot. And obviously watching the homestays. Because there was times where Keisha and Kwame were getting on very well. So I think a few of us was a bit confused by that, and I think by the letter that they got at the dinner party when we had the letters, I think that highlighted that some of us were a bit confused as to what was happening between them, because they were very close or getting on well, and you'd see them, and a lot of us would go to their apartments for food and drinks and have a laugh. So then when it started to crumble, we was just like, what's going on?
Definitely.
But seeing their homestays, obviously, Kwame on the park bench.
He's taken to the park.
And like George and April, watching George and April has been very interesting. So watching George and April, like, I was like, oh, okay, seeing a different side to George.
Yeah.
It's mad, because I bet people will assume that we did this experiment with these people, so we would know the ins and outs of them. But we don't, because you got to think, I'm seeing some of these people just at dinner parties and the commitment ceremonies mainly. You don't, unless you're going to each other's apartments, you're not really interacting that much. So it's been interesting watching it back. I think them two couples has been the most interesting watching back.
Watching yours and Jordan's journey, I'm sure a lot of the viewers will agree with me. Like, we can literally see the love blossom. Like, we can literally feel the love from the screen. And I'm sure everybody want to know, has the L word been dropped yet?
But I can't say none of that because the show's not ended, so I'm not allowed to speak about anything. I mean, what is it? It's Tuesday today, isn't it? This time next week, everything will come to light with all the couples, so you'll know exactly what's happened with everybody, where everyone's at. So yeah, I can't give spoilers out.
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't think I'm ready to wait until next week.
I do not want to get in trouble. I will get in trouble. So it's best for me to keep my mouth shut.
So I want to ask you, what do you make of Matt and Whitney's relationship? What do you make of Matt and Whitney declaring their love for each other and expressing that they're falling for each other?
So I said on the show, it's funny because you just don't see so much. So obviously with Matt and Gemma, I was really upset for Gemma at the end of the day, how she felt, and like everything had just come falling down for her. Her and Matt weren't at the best time, but he'd gone to the retreat too. So I think she felt that if they both went to the retreat, that is a nice place where maybe they could rekindle something, they could talk and make, baby steps forward. So then to go to the retreat, and then that obviously happened between Matt and Whitney, was a massive bomb really for her. To say the least. And then obviously Duke got the heads up and the night before, and Gemma didn't. So again, that was hard for her because she's finding out at the dinner table. So with Matt and Whitney, I was annoyed at them because I thought, why wouldn't you just go speak to Gemma? Why would you leave it and then you looking at each other across the table the way you're looking at each other and having these private moments? Why didn't you just let her know, and then you could just do your business? I did say to Matt and Whitney on the show, I know a lot of people commented on my facial expressions and stuff.
Girl, you gave us the facial expressions. Your facial expression just says it all. You might as well turn into a meme.
Probably am. I probably will.
I was like, you are the queen of facial expressions. You basically express what we're thinking.
I never realised how expressive I was until I watched the show back and I thought, no, oh God, is that me?
But I want to ask you this, like, I know a lot of people have had questions, but like, is there a limit to falling in love? Like, can you not fall in love after a week?
This is the thing. So I said, obviously, I was shocked with Whitney when she said that they said the love word. And I think that's because of all the couples that are in that experiment, the trials and tribulations we've been through, and the love word hadn't been used with anybody. And this is people that have actually got married and, done how many weeks in the experiment. So when she said that, I was a bit taken back, like, how is this? And also at that time, we didn't know the time frame between Matt and Whitney. There was a lot of questions about the time frame. So we was like, how long has this been going on? So again, that's what added to the confusion. And I said this to them, and it didn't all get shown, but I love love. I you know, I'm all here for it. I love a soppy story, all of that. And no, I suppose there is no timeline as such for love. And like I said to Matt and Whitney, because I'll be honest, to see Whitney happy was lovely. Like, it was really nice to see her happy and smiling. Like, there was a big difference. And I'd said that to her. I said, it's actually really nice to see her smiling. And I know it sounds silly, but I think I felt that Whitney had more of a leg to stand on than Matt in the situation. And I'd said to him, and I've, like the rest said, it's not personal to you too, but it's how you've gone about it. Gemma's got her, Duke has obviously got her, not as much as Gemma like, but Duke is in there. And it was how they went about it, why everyone was so annoyed. And then obviously people didn't know if they should stay or not, because at the time I remember thinking, well, if they are in love, if they feel that they found each other, wouldn't that be the same as finding each other in a bar? So that they could just go out the experiment and continue and do whatever they would do. I mean, they had a valid point in the sense of, well, we live 3 hours or so away. Like, there's a big difference. And, you know, we could do with the advice and the support from the experts like you guys have. So I am someone that does try to see it from both sides. So although I was very much there for Gemma, after I got over the initial shock and annoyed, you know, how annoyed I was with Matt and Whitney, I then could see it from their side as well, that actually, if this is love, like I said to them, if this is going to blossom and you're going to, you know, make something of this, then who are we to stand in the way? Do you know what I mean? Like, we kind of have to focus on our own marriages. But the thing is, I think in that experiment, you do get dragged into everyone else's marriages. We get asked by the experts at times, like, of our opinion and stuff. Like, so sometimes when you see it, we're not just there screaming randomly from the sofas. Like, it's been opened up back for us all to speak out. And that happened with Matt and Whitney. So that's why you get certain questions where it looks like, oh, why should I scream that out at them? No. I didn't.
I'm glad they explained that, because sometimes as viewers we look at some of the cast like, why are you talking? Did anybody ask that? But now that you've mentioned that, like, we know that, you know, it's an open space for everyone to actually share their opinion. Like,
you can. And this is the thing, obviously within reason, don't just start like giving you 2 pence worth randomly. But it is. And you know, the couch, say the way experts are speaking to one couple about certain things, you're listening and you're taking on that advice, even though it's not to you personally at that moment. You take it all on. And I suppose although it's you and the expert, you all come together. And you can't, I think people watch and they're like, well, mind your business, you know, stick to your own marriage. You do try, but you can't. Even when you do keep your gob shut, someone wants to chat something about you. So it's not that easy. And then like, people are like, oh, the drama, you get you can't not get dragged into the drama, because at a dinner party, you're at a dinner party and there's like, say 20 of us, because that's initially 16 weren't there initially, and this box comes, or this gold envelope. You ain't get, the only way you're not going to be in that drama is if you're not sat at that dinner table. That's the only way. So every day every time we'd go to the dinner party, I'd always be, they're called Voxers. So they're like the one-to-one interviews, you see. So we'd get voxed before every dinner party and after and stuff. But you haven't seen as many this series. So every time I'd be like, positive vibes, positive energy for the dinner party at the beginning. And then as I come accustomed to the dinner parties and what they were about, I would start saying positive vibes, but you know, I'm not new to this now. So whatever happens. And it kind of just changed over time. I wasn't naive to the fact that Summit was going to blow up. But it's definitely been dramatic, this series. And it's funny because so many people think that it's scripted, and it's not.
It's not. It's 100% real. 100%.
Literally. No one gets told like, oh, just go kick off, or
no, but then do the that's what I mean. Like, do the producer not come up to you? Oh yeah, speak to so and so about this and this, or
they might now and again say, oh guys, will you speak about this topic? But you know, the actual feuds and the fallouts and stuff like that, they're natural. Yeah, they're just what happens. So you'd never get a producer saying, oh, remember blah blah said this about you, go ask. Like, it wouldn't be like that. It'd be, oh, do you want to speak about this? You know, because it's to get momentum for conversations. But yeah, it just like snowballs, and every dinner party started off so calm, and it's like, right, and
the drinks are flowing.
I was about to say, and then wine's flowing. I don't even drink wine. I don't even like wine. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I drink wine.
You're just sipping your drink.
And then because we have prosecco at the mixers, so yeah, like you can imagine, gold envelope or a box, wine's flowing, and there's big characters in that cast.
Yeah, definitely.
Big characters. So yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you love. What is your love language?
What is my love language? You know what? I always think about this because I got asked it in when I was applying. I have a little bit of everything. I like words of affirmation. I need words of affirmation. I need to know that you're feeling me. You've got my back. I need all of that. Actions of kindness and stuff. Just because I think sometimes someone bringing you a cup of tea in the morning whilst you're in bed is such a small thing, but it's such a big thing because they're thinking about you. That I like that when they do the things and you think, oh, you thought about me, because I'm very much like that. So if I see your favorite chocolate bar, like, you know, it's even something so small and oh, that's your favorite, I'll get it. So I kind of like that reciprocated. Just it's just to know that you thought about and you're valued. That's
oh, that's nice. Now, I know you said that you couldn't share as much, but is there anything that happened off camera that we didn't see on the show, good or bad?
Oh, there's lots that you don't. Yeah, there's lots that you don't see. Like with the bowling, Jordan lost, and he was really salty about it. He's still not got over it. Like with Yes Week, I just looked like I was made and clean, which I did not like that. But like I did tarot card reading with him, so we did that. I'm not like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like psychic, but it was something that I was starting to learn about tarot cards. So we did like a joke, and I did his. He's cooked for me.
Well, is he a good cook? Can he throw it down in the kitchen?
He would cook. We'd cook for each other, but I like the fact that he'd cook, because sometimes it's always the women, isn't it? What else? So final dates. We actually got each other gifts as well. So he wrote me a poem.
Yeah.
He was meant to get that framed actually, so he's still got the poem, so I can't even let you know what it says because I can't remember it all. And then I made him like a jar, and inside the jar it had all the things that we said that we was going to do together. So, you know, throughout the experiment, when they'd be like, oh, let's do this, oh, I'd love to do that. Even something silly as like an Uber boat. So moving to living in London, we learned that Uber boats existed. Didn't know that. And then we was like, oh God, we want to go on the Uber boat. So just little small things or big things like going on holiday. And then I got him some sage and a crystal. Yeah, got the sage. So I got him some sage and a crystal, because he used to always be like, oh, will you sage my house? So that's what our gifts were. But yeah, there's so much you don't see. There's so much you don't see in terms of like the wider context of discussions and conversations. Because I saw on, you know, I don't really go on Twitter, but I know that at times people are like, oh, about myself, that I'm shady or this, that, and the other. I'm not. I'm probably one of the least shadiest people in there. But you don't see the whole, you know, bigger picture of conversations I've had, or let me have wider context. And that's because there's so much, as you can tell, to cram into an hour. But yeah, there's honestly so much you don't see. What else? There's that much. Like, so the honeymoon as well, we went horse riding. I had to wear his clothes for horse riding because my suitcase got lost. So, you know, just even my suitcase getting lost, didn't tell nobody about that, did they?
Yeah.
like lost all my hair products. That's why on that day on the boat, my hair's getting bigger and bigger.
It's beautiful though.
Thank you. But yeah, like there's so much you don't see, and at times I suppose it is a bit disheartening because you think, oh, it would have been good for people to see that. Bad things really not as much. Like I think for me and Jordan, we were very fortunate in the experiment, and that I'm very grateful for, because seeing other people's journeys, you think, bloody hell. So yeah, but yeah, there's so much just not in it.
You speak about like, you know, the public and, you know, their feedback, like watching it back, like did you like how you was being portrayed on the show? Like I know a lot of people will always have an opinion and people always they're always gonna have something to say, but like how did you find the people's reaction to you and what people think of you, and how do you feel about how you was being portrayed on the show? Because I know a lot of the cast have had a whole lot to say about editing and things like that, but what do you make of that?
I suppose it's hard because if you've said it, you've said it. That's the difficulty. They can't pull words out of your mouth. I think I have been majority happy how I've been portrayed on the show, because I think with me, I'm very much the same on camera, off camera. So there's nothing I could really battle with, because I am me and I've chose to put, you know, the real authentic me out there.
Yeah.
I think the only time I was a bit upset was at the dinner, that's when I did get a bit of hate at the dinner party. People thought I was snappy and horrible because I'd said to Jordan, "Oh, concentrate," and I'd said the Rottweiler comment. But what people didn't know is Jordan was quite drunk at that point and he couldn't read the card, and he'd read the card wrong 3 times before I said concentrate. So that's why I had said concentrate. He didn't just, you know. So yeah, I think overall I have been happy. The love and support I've got from the public has, honestly, I can't stress this enough, meant the world to me. I was very scared. This is, you know, this world is very new to me. I'm just little Chanita from Derby, being a social worker. Do you know what I mean? To come step into this TV world, so to speak, where how many people are watching you, have an opinion. It is very scary to think about, but I get messages and it literally warms my heart and it makes me feel so much better. Don't get me wrong. And when I say feel better, I feel better in terms of, I feel like I've reached out to people. There's people that have messaged me and be like, your backstory relates so much to mine. And that's nice because people then can see you're not the only one, you know. And I think with the hate, I've been fortunate in that respect as well. I've not had as much hate as other people have in the cast. But that's still hard to deal with. You never like anyone being nasty about you, do you? But then I suppose I've had to build a resilience to that and just think, that's your opinion, that I don't agree with your opinion, because actually that's not true and you're only seeing a snippet of me. But I just delete it and block it out, because there's enough negativity in this world without other people just sprinkling more and more. But yeah, no, honestly, the public have just been amazing at a time that could be, well, a time that is so difficult and a roller coaster. For people to be so supportive and nice, I just literally, if I could, I'd individually hug every one of them. And I try and show how appreciative I am by I try and message every single person back. So it hurts my thumbs, but it's worth it.
We see a lot of people when they go into shows like this, you know, once they come out of a show like this, they either go into the world of influencing or they go back to their regular jobs. And now that the show is slowly coming to an end, what's next for Chanita? What's Chanita working on? Will you be going back to being a social worker, or will you be trying something different, or will you be going into the world of influencing? What's next for you?
You know what? I wish I knew. If I had a crystal ball, I could do that right now. I don't know. Obviously, so in between the show, I went back to social work. and worked with families and children. And then when the show was airing, I took a break because I personally didn't feel it was appropriate for me to be on TV and be going into people's houses. Don't get me wrong, I could have stayed in my job, but I just chose to have that break and separate the two. Obviously, the show is coming to an end. I think I will look at ways in which I can utilize my platform for good. How and exactly what I will do, I don't know as of yet. But with obviously the amount of followers I've gained, I just want to do something that's positive and helps people, because I suppose that's ingrained in me. So I don't know what's next. And I suppose that's kind of scary, but at the same time, it's exciting as well because who knows what's in store. So sorry, that wasn't a clear answer, but I don't have a clear answer right now.
And it's fine. I remember when I first messaged you, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, and before the show started airing, and I was like, yeah, I would like to have you on my platform, and you were like, it's okay if I can get back to you because this is all new to me. it's all different. Like,
I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed. That's what
was. It's a different world, you know?
It really is. And I think and that's why as well, I don't know what I'm doing right now because I'm just trying to get my head around everything. To go from, like I said, just me plodding along in Derby, no one knows who I am, to now I'll go out to eat and someone's like, oh, are you girl from Maps? I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, I don't expect people to recognize me. Right, so I'm just trying to get my head around everything, see how it works. Even social media. That is a whole new thing for me to learn, you know. Like Instagram before was just me posting some little picture of myself, maybe after a weekend, that's it. Now it's really engaging with people and having a broader, a wider, I suppose, channel to speak to people from all over. Like someone messaged me earlier from Canada. So that's just mind-blowing. Just seeing where it takes me, learning the ropes, and then going from there. Because part of me, there is little things that I think I'd like to do, but it's just waiting and seeing, and just ways I can still work with people and help and chat. You can tell I just don't shut up. So.
It's all right. We love it. Now, my last question to you is, and I know you said you can't tell us everything, but I know the fans want to know, is Chanita and Jordan still together? Like,
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you. I mean, I like you trying though. I'll give you that. I'm here for that. I love it.
I mean, you know what? You've been pretty good at not posting you two together, so that's good.
To be fair, though, none of us are allowed to. So we're actually not allowed to post together, and we've actually been a bit naughty posting with our friends. So like, I posted either. I don't think so. No. So I posted me and Sophie the other day, and I'm like, oops, sorry. So we've all been a bit naughty in that aspect, but that's why you won't see nobody post their other half at all. And we'll post pictures, obviously, from the show and that. So I have messages all the time asking me, "Are you together?" I can't tell you, but literally, a week, and everyone will know everything about everybody.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because I'm eager to know. But I want to say thank you so much, Chanita, for coming to my platform. Honestly, it means so much. Any last words? Where can they find you?
Oh, well. No, dogs now jumped on me. Thank you for having me. Honestly, this is like my first YouTube thing, so I'm actually really excited about that. So thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram, I suppose, and TikTok. You can watch my journey as I try to navigate this weird social world. And if anyone wants to pop me a message or whatever, I'm here to chat. Don't ask me if I'm with Jordan though, because I can't tell you that. But always happy to chat to people and watch this space because I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I'm going to leave you to it because I know the show is airing very soon.
Oh gosh, yes.
But have a lovely evening, and we're so excited to see what's next for you. What's like your journey. Hopefully, Jordan and Chanita still together. But thank you so much. And it's onwards, upwards from here. I know, like, you're gonna
positive
be
doing
vibes. Big things. But have a lovely evening.
Yes, you too. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I loved it.
Bye.
Bye.